Racism in America has become a business. Now, I'm not saying that in the way that most people would likely take that, as far as, black and brown people are disproportionately affected by racist systems and structures that are profiting off of their backs. No, 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 no. What I mean is racism is a business. The idea, the concept of racism has become an industry in and of itself. And so when we talk about organizations such as BLM, that's the most obvious, blatant version of racism being a business. These are race hustlers who use the race narrative in order to push for financial gain. Simple. Real simple, right? Here is an organization that claims to care so much for black folks who are, quote unquote, disproportionately affected by police brutality. Young black men and young black women having their lives taken by racist white police officers, and therefore give us some money. That's pretty much how that played out. So with the most recent events of the Karmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf case, or more specifically, the case of Karmelo Anthony, because Austin is no longer here. And truly the only defense that is there is whether or not this is a case of true self-defense. And as many of the stories that have been coming up have been saying, and video footage has been shown to the jurors as well as the judge and other individuals involved directly in the case, it doesn't seem to be so. Now, here's a story of a young black man who took the life of a young black or a young white man, or more specifically, a 17-year-old black boy who took the life of a 17-year-old white boy. And obviously, this was used as some sort of leverage piece for the race hustlers. Now, you would think to yourself, how could you profit off of a situation that seems like the worst case scenario? Well, it's simple. When you have been fed this idea that you are the victim no matter what, this neo-Marxist mentality, or just overall Marxist mentality that there are the oppressed and the oppressor. The whole world is broken up in two groups, oppressed and oppressor. You are the oppressed. If you're black, you're brown, you are of a quote unquote minority group. Even if you're technically not the minority, you're still considered a minority. Even if there's only 5 white people and there are 100 people of quote unquote color, you're still the minority, right? You are the victim. Simple. Oh, you took that white boy's life? You're the victim. And so as this story has been unfolding, in the very beginning, we first saw this Give, Send, Go, which is the equivalent of a GoFundMe, where I guess you can raise money for some of the most heinous and vile things, such as for criminals. So Karmelo's family rose, I believe they had a fundraiser of like $500,000, $600,000, something of that nature. I mean, they raised at least $500,000. And the allegations were that they used this money in order to purchase a new home, or rent a new home, as well as purchase a new Cadillac. The jokes write themselves. So this is the allegation. Now, there are some people who refuted, but there wasn't a complete statement saying that this was definitely not the case. And it seems to be the reality, because they stated that they were in danger because people are coming after them. People are being mean, threatening their lives, etc. I mean, I get threats on my life on a daily basis. So anyway, they were getting threats on their lives. Therefore, they needed to go somewhere that was safer, i.e. the suburbs, i.e. purchase a new car. Well, now we find ourselves in a place where I guess they're in need of more money. Now, I did want to bring up a video of a woman who used to be in defense of Karmelo Anthony and his family speaking on this. Unfortunately, I realized that, there's music in the background that I know I'm going to get copywritten for. And I would want to read the subtitles, just stating what she's talking about, but I feel I would do more justice just explaining it. So essentially, she's perplexed, confused, flabbergasted as to why Karmelo's daddy is coming out asking for another $1 million. I believe the total estimate is like 1.3 something million dollars in total. Now, some people saying, well, maybe they need it for the trial. As a matter of fact, that's what they said on the Give, Send, Go. They need this for the case itself. Now, for me, here's the thing. Why is the public beholden to pay for your son's crime? I know there's people who are going to want to anyway, but this expectation, this entitlement that, well, we deserve to have this paid off. You guys are in defense of the guy who is on trial. Am I the only one confused about this? Your son is still alive. The young man who is no longer here, your son took his life. That's 100%. That's not allegedly. 100%. Your son stabbed that young man in his heart. And you're the ones who are demanding a $1 million reward for his bad behavior from the public. I was mind blown when I heard this. I thought to myself, surely enough, they're going to look to, skate up under the radar. They don't want to be seen, heard, because they know that they're on the losing side no matter which way this goes. Even if their son was acquitted of this, it would be another O.J. Simpson type of situation where it's just racialized and the race hustlers are using this. And so the reason I brought this story up is, again, to highlight the fact that race is a business, or racism is a business now. It is a business model. I believe it's a full-blown industry at this point. And when you have the likes of a Karmelo Anthony's pops coming out asking for another $1 million, Lord knows where all of that money is actually going. This is a lucrative deal they got themselves into. Instead of being punished, instead of facing consequences, they're being absolved of that. They're being babied and coddled by a culture who sees themselves within that family or within that boy, which is the most disturbing part about it. And that's why I continue to speak on the subject of, what has become of the quote unquote black culture, or what's accepted as black culture. It's a farce, actually. It's really, it's a delusion and an illusion. A lot of the same things that are claimed as blackness in America were actually taken from the southern quote unquote rednecks of old, right? Who migrated from certain places within Great Britain, within Scotland and Ireland, and brought a lot of those unsavory characteristics and behaviors to the Americas, or more specifically to the colonies. And that then was accepted or taken in as normal for black folks in America. And now it is not just the subculture, as Thomas Sowell would say, but it has now become the mainstream culture. That mainstream culture rewards the violent perpetrator. It rewards the criminal. It rewards the one who is in the wrong on the sole basis that they have the right skin color. I hate a bully. I hate the idea of racism. And that's what's currently taking place right now. That's why I speak on the things that I do. And I'm going to be getting more and more even into, the hatred towards Jews that's taking place. It's no different. People blaming this one group of people, whether it was, the Democratic white man blaming the black man for every problem in the world back in the 1900s, whether it's the black man blaming the white man for every problem in the world, which has been happening the last 80 or so years. And then now we've almost always had, it's the Jews. All of it is absolute nonsense and absolves the individual from taking personal accountability. But back to the point at hand. This Karmelo Anthony situation has unfortunately brought out some of the worst aspects, fortunately and unfortunately. Unfortunately, because obviously of, a young man's life is taken, and it's like trauma upon trauma. But then also we get to see what this culture truly is, to the point where even those who used to be in defense of it are now like, wait a minute, this is wrong. No, we're not giving you another $1 million. What the hell did you do with the money before? And why are we supporting and endorsing this in the first place? So, I truly hope the best for everybody involved. I hope that justice is served in this case. And I know it's an ongoing case that will continue to show itself. Hopefully, once the truth comes out, it causes I don't want a race war. I really don't. But I understand when people grieve to that level. I understand when people feel that they have essentially been they've been violated in such a way. I get that on either side. But I hope it leads to deeper reflection on what the hell are we actually doing here? What are we supporting? What are we endorsing, and why? It don't matter if you're a black man, black woman. You are not Karmelo Anthony. And if you are, then you are the very problem within our society. And we need rid of you. And it has nothing to do with your skin color, but you're making it about that. So we have to then insinuate that you can't separate the two. Therefore, we can't trust you. We need to get rid of these aspects of our culture and our society. This used to be grounds for ostracization, sometimes for deletion. Your life would be taken in response to you taking another man's life. And yet now here we are in a place where we're like, well, maybe we should just fund the family's lifestyle. Absolutely the hell not. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 365, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up. You know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises. You get to praising.